You ready for some truth? Here's one for the history books. A US president sided with a foreign power against Ethiopia. Trump didn't just ignore Ethiopia's struggle, he tried to kill it. He threatened war, cut aid, and stood by Egypt like a paid lobbyist. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, a project built by the people, for the people, sabotaged from Washington. Why? Who paid the price? And is Trump making a comeback to finish the job?
And they'll end up blowing up the dam, and I said it and I say it loud and clear, they'll blow up that dam.
Welcome to Semonenya Spotlight, where we drop truth bombs straight from Ethiopia's soul. Today we expose Trump's betrayal of Ethiopia, a betrayal that nearly shattered a 13-year dream called Gerd. This dam isn't just concrete and turbines, it's Ethiopia's defiant answer to colonial injustice. Funded by farmers, teachers, and everyday heroes, Gerd stands tall on the Nile declaring, "We will no longer be denied." But when Ethiopia refused to bow to Egypt's demands, Trump didn't mediate. He punished. He slashed aid, echoed war threats, and tried to twist Gerd into a political bargaining chip. Peacemaker? No. Pawn of Egypt? Absolutely. This is the untold story of how Ethiopia stood alone, yet unbroken, and why the world must now choose justice or silence. For Ethiopians in the world, Trump's actions reveal a stark injustice, a betrayal of a nation's dream that demands global scrutiny. One thing is clear, Trump will never take Ethiopia's side or remain neutral on the Gerd, leaving Ethiopia to fight alone for its rightful destiny. A dream built by Ethiopian hands. The Gerd is Ethiopia's triumph, funded entirely by its people, a rare feat in a region often reliant on foreign loans. Since construction began in 2011, ordinary Ethiopians, farmers, teachers, diaspora communities, poured their savings into government bonds, raising billions to build a dam that will generate 5,150 megawatts of power. No foreign aid, no external debt, just the collective will of a nation determined to harness the Blue Nile, which supplies 85% of the river's flow, but was locked away by colonial treaties. In the past 9 months alone, the Gerd produced 6,800 megawatt hours of electricity, with 5 turbines each generating 400 megawatts, according to Ethiopia's Ministry of Water and Energy. Last year, 2 turbines alone churned out over 2,700 gigawatt hours, contributing 16% of Ethiopia's total power output. When all 11 turbines are operational, the dam will boost the country's energy capacity by 83%, producing 15,760 gigawatt hours annually. As Minister Habtamu Itefa stated, the Gerd is in its final phase, holding vast water reserves and poised to transform Ethiopia's future by its 2025 inauguration. This is no mere infrastructure project, it's a correction of history. Colonial powers, notably Britain, crafted the 1929 and 1959 Nile treaties, granting Egypt and Sudan disproportionate water shares while excluding Ethiopia, the river's source. For centuries, Ethiopia was denied its rights, despite its critical role in the Nile's flow. The Gerd, fully funded by Ethiopians, challenges this legacy, symbolizing sovereignty and self-reliance. Yet this dream has faced relentless opposition, with Egypt fearing water shortages and Sudan navigating risks and benefits. Into this delicate balance stepped Trump, whose first term, 2017 to 2021, turned a regional dispute into a global controversy, Trump's coercive diplomacy. In 2019, Trump's administration, alongside the World Bank, hosted tripartite talks in Washington to resolve Gerd tensions between Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan. What began as mediation quickly revealed bias. Sources, including foreign policy, report Trump pressured Ethiopia to sign a binding agreement favoring Egypt's demand for a prolonged filling schedule to protect its water security, sidelining Ethiopia's urgent need for power. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, resolute, refused to sign, opting for African Union-led talks instead. Trump's response was telling. In a 2020 call with Sudan's Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok, he warned that Egypt might blow up the Gerd, calling it a very dangerous situation. For Ethiopians, this was an unforgivable incitement of war by a sitting U.S. president, violating international norms. Ethiopia's government erupted in outrage, echoing a nation united in defiance. The Ethiopian people, who had poured their hearts into the Gerd, saw Trump not as a neutral broker, but as Egypt's enforcer, emboldened by his close ties to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, whom he reportedly called his favorite dictator, a punitive blow. Trump's bias became undeniable in September 2020 when his administration slashed up to $130 million in aid to Ethiopia, citing its decision to begin filling the dam without Egypt's approval. For a nation reliant on foreign assistance for nearly half its budget, this was a devastating blow, a clear punishment for asserting sovereignty. The Gerd, funded by Ethiopian taxpayers, was no threat to Egypt's survival. Studies, including those by MIT, suggest the dam's impact on downstream flow can be managed with cooperation. Yet Trump's aid cut sent a message: comply with Cairo's demands or face economic isolation. As reported by the reporter Ethiopia stood firm, declaring it would not cave in to aggressions of any kind. Suspicions of Trump's motives deepened with revelations of Egyptian influence. The Washington Post reported that in 2016, Trump's campaign allegedly received a $10 million infusion from Egypt, sparking a U.S. Justice Department investigation into possible illegal foreign funding. Was this why Trump championed Egypt's Gerd agenda? The timing, pressure, threats, and aid cuts suggests a quid pro quo, with Cairo banking on Trump to deliver favorable terms. For Ethiopia, it was a bitter betrayal, reinforcing a historical pattern of foreign powers prioritizing Egypt's interests over the Nile's source. A global injustice. Trump's 2025 claim of bringing peace to the Gerd dispute is a distortion of reality. Ethiopia completed the dam's filling in 2023 and began generating power, with its inauguration set for September 2025. Achievements driven by Ethiopian resilience, not Trump's intervention. The Washington talks collapsed in 2020 when Ethiopia rejected biased terms and no binding agreement exists with Egypt or Sudan. Yet Cairo persists. New Central reports Egypt is preparing a dossier for Trump's second term, hoping his return will revive their leverage. Alarmingly, Trump has reportedly linked the Gerd to a proposal pressuring Egypt to accept displaced Gazans in exchange for U.S. support, treating Ethiopia's sovereign project as a geopolitical bargaining chip. Trump will never take Ethiopia's side or remain neutral on the Gerd. His first term proved his allegiance lies elsewhere, with Egypt's strategic importance as a U.S. ally outweighing Ethiopia's rightful claims. This is an injustice the world must recognize. Egypt's fears are valid, but its reliance on colonial-era treaties to monopolize the Nile ignores Ethiopia's needs. Sudan, caught in the middle, faces risks but also benefits from the Gerd's power and flood control, as seen in 2020 when the dam mitigated devastating floods. The African Union's mediation, preferred by Ethiopia, offers a fairer path, but progress is slow, and Trump's return threatens renewed interference. Ethiopia's call to the world. The Gerd is more than a dam. It's a symbol of Ethiopia's fight for equity. For centuries, colonial powers silenced Ethiopia's voice, allocating zero Nile water for its development. Today, the Gerd, built from Ethiopian pockets, stands as a rebuke to that legacy. Its 13-year journey, culminating in next year's inauguration, is a testament to a nation's resolve. Yet Trump's actions, threats of violence, aid cuts, alleged Egyptian payoffs, sought to preserve an unjust status quo, punishing Ethiopia for daring to dream. The world must stand with Ethiopia. The Gerd's success is a global story of self-reliance, a model for nations seeking to break free from foreign dependence. Trump's betrayal is a warning. Without international solidarity, Ethiopia's struggle risks being drowned out by powerful agendas. As the dam nears its 2025 inauguration, let the global community rally behind Ethiopia's call for justice, not just for the Nile, but for the principle that every nation deserves a fair share of its own resources. The Blue Nile flows on, carrying Ethiopia's hopes and a challenge to the world. Will you uphold equity or let injustice prevail? Thanks for tuning in to Semenenya English Channel. If Ethiopia's fight for the Gerd moved you, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for more truth bombs from the heart of Ethiopia. Share this video to amplify Ethiopia's voice in the Gerd's triumph. Join us next time as we uncover stories that ignite justice and inspire change. Stay fierce, fam.